Good morning, everybody. This is Casper from the Tropical Weather Threat Society bringing you an emergency update regarding Hurricane Melissa approaching the southwestern portions of Jamaica as an absolute catastrophic monster. There's no other way to put this. Hurricane reconnaissance is in there now, just ran through the core of the system, and what it is finding as far as its pressures go are absolutely unbelievable. I've got pressures and values that get down into well below 900, potentially even as far down as 893 or 894 millibars of central pressure. This is an absolute monster, folks. This basically what we are looking at here now is a ultra wide, ridiculous tornado. And we do have the update. This is exactly what I thought. Guys, James, get it up on the page, please, immediately. I knew this was coming. As of the 9 a.m. update, this is a special update. Oh my God. The eye of Melissa is nearing the southern coast of Jamaica and is expected to make landfall within the next few hours. This is an extremely dangerous and life-threatening situation. Take action now to protect your life. Residents in Jamaica should not leave their shelter as winds will rapidly increase within the eye wall of Melissa. Remain in place through the passage of these life-threatening conditions. An Air Force Hurricane Hunter aircraft has found that Melissa is strengthening with maximum sustained winds of around 180 miles an hour, and the minimum central pressure for this update will be recorded at 896 millibars. So we are about 50 miles south-southeast of Negril, Jamaica, and we are about 260 miles southwest of Guantanamo, Cuba, with the location at 17.6 north, 78.1 west. Maximum sustained winds have increased to 180 miles an hour, with movement north-northeast at 7 miles an hour, and that minimum central pressure dropping below 900 millibars. This will, if it makes landfall at 896, it will be the fourth strongest landfall ever recorded, or could be the strongest landfall or the second strongest landfall ever recorded, behind the 892 with the 1935 Labor Day hurricane landfall into the Florida Keys. This at 896 is almost the equivalent of what we saw with Hurricane Milton last year at its peak intensity while over the Gulf. I believe that got down to 895, 896. It's right in this range. Folks, Jamaica, my heart pours out to you and your fellow residents, because the western side, there's going to be a massive scar that is going to take upwards of a decade to recover from. This is unbelievable. It really is. Now, I've got here the 8 a.m. advisory. Obviously, this information will be outdated due to the 9 a.m. hourly or special update that we got, but we still need to go through this because we have our hazards affecting land. Right now, we still have a hurricane warning in effect for Jamaica, portions of eastern Cuba, southeastern and central Bahamas. A hurricane watch is in effect for the Turks and Caicos, and we have a tropical storm warning in effect for all of Haiti, all of the Turks and Caicos, and the Cuban province of Las Tunas. We scroll down here to the hazards affecting land. Folks, this is the most important. I cannot stress this enough. This is a very, very serious life-threatening situation for the folks there in Jamaica. Wind Tropical storm conditions are occurring in Jamaica, and the catastrophic hurricane force winds are expected to begin during the next few hours. Within the eye wall, total structural failure is likely, especially in higher elevations where the wind speeds atop and on windward side of hills and mountains could be up to 30% stronger. If you add 30% back to 180, you are looking at 234 miles an hour. Tropical storm conditions are expected to begin in eastern Cuba today, with the hurricane conditions expected in the hurricane warning area starting tonight into Wednesday morning. Tropical storm conditions are expected in Haiti later today and Wednesday. Hurricane conditions are expected in the southeastern and central Bahamas on Wednesday. Tropical storm conditions are expected and hurricane conditions are possible in the Turks and Caicos Island on Wednesday. Our rainfall. If the wind wasn't bad enough, we've got multiple threats with this, folks. This is why it is extremely important to read the hazards affecting land portion of the public advisory issued by the National Hurricane Center. Melissa is expected to bring rainfall of 15 to 30 inches to portions of Jamaica and additional rainfall of 6 to 12 inches for southern Hispaniola through Wednesday, with storm total local maxima of 40 inches possible. Catastrophic flash flooding and numerous landslides are likely. For eastern Cuba, storm total rainfall of 10 to 20 inches with local amounts to 25 inches is expected into Wednesday, resulting in life-threatening and potentially catastrophic flash flooding with numerous landslides. Over the southeastern Bahamas and Turks and Caicos, rain is expected to develop later today and continue into Wednesday. Total rainfall of 5 to 10 inches is expected to result in areas of flash flooding. Storm surge. A life-threatening storm surge is likely along the south coast of Jamaica today. I'm not going to say likely. Life-threatening storm surge is occurring now. Peak storm surge heights could reach 9 to 13 feet above ground level near and to the east of where the center of Melissa makes landfall. This storm surge will be accompanied by large and destructive waves. On the northwest coast of Jamaica, near Montego Bay, there is a possibility of 2 to 4 feet of storm surge above ground level as the storm is beginning to exit the northern shore. The westward side of the circulation will push surge back to land, back towards Montego Bay. There is a potential for significant storm surge along the southeast coast of Cuba later today or Wednesday. Peak storm surge heights could reach 7 to 11 feet above normal tide levels, near and to the east of where the center of Melissa makes landfall. This storm surge will be accompanied by large and destructive waves. Storm surge of 4 to 6 feet above normally dry ground is possible in the southeastern Bahamas and Turks and Caicos Islands on Wednesday. And as far as the surf is concerned, stay out of the water, please. Interest in Bermuda. You need to keep a watch on this, and you will have watches likely issued sometime later today. Getting into the discussion, so we're now to the point to where if you look at satellite, it is basically right on top of the southwestern coast of Jamaica. This is going to bring unimaginable damage, especially to the west and west central portions of the island. Now, Negril out here, however you pronounce that, out there on the very western edge, let's pull up the cone. As you can see, right on the very western edge, you may see some hurricane force winds, and there's a reason why I'm talking about this town in specific. I've gotten messages that a good friend has friends out there in kind of stuck at the Sandals Resort out here. And as you can see, big time problems, folks. Huge problems. Now, Kingston, you are likely to escape this with not the damage that we are going to see getting out here towards Manchester, Bluntlers, Barbary Hall, Black River, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, you are going to see some pretty significant impacts as well. Let's zoom in and see if we can't get all of these locations. All of these. Let's pull off the wind field here. And this way we can actually read these things. The town of St. Elizabeth, this looks to be a considerable little a little area of population. It does look like there is quite a bit of infrastructure in this region. I feel very, very bad for these folks. Rocky Hill, Lacovia, New River, Frenchman, Cotaboo, Burnt Ground, Burnt Savannah, Leeds, Mount Hermon, Goshen, Brays River, Georges Valley, Bogue, Elim, Appleton, New Holland, Glasgow, Middlesex, Union, Mexico, Thornton, all these places, folks. Every single one of these locations are going to be severely impacted. All of this green that you see here in this area will be gone. Gone. There's not going to be any green left. This will strip all of the foliage from the ground. And these higher elevations are expected to see winds in excess of what we have right now at 180 miles an hour, which is the surface, not the elevated terrains. This is as bad as it gets, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. This is very comparable to, and will be, to the damage that we saw in Hurricane Dorian, or the damage that we saw in Puerto Rico from Hurricane Maria, or the damage that we saw in some of the islands from Hurricane Irma or Michael. This is going to be in the upper echelon of landfalls that have ever occurred into the Atlantic basin. You can't really get much worse than this. And I don't think you can, honestly. It would take a very specific set of circumstances to be able to repeat this process ever again to anybody. This is as bad as we can get, folks. Especially now that we have pressures below 900 millibars. There's only been a handful of storms ever in the Atlantic basin that have been able to achieve sub 900 millibars. And this is there. This is that one. Please, folks, you do not come out of the shelter. If the eye passes over your area and your shelter is still intact, stay in that shelter. Do not bring yourself outside. Do not go outside. Don't. This is as deadly as they come. It does not care what you believe in. It does not care where you live. It does not care what your culture is, what your political beliefs are, what your religious beliefs are. This storm does not care about human life. This is a natural process of Earth transitioning heat from the equator to the polar regions. And unfortunately, land is in the way and humans are in the way. We've got all of the animals, the wildlife, the birds that are trapped in the eye. This is going to be deadly on many scales, whether it be agricultural, whether it be human, unfortunately, whether it be wildlife. This is as bad as it gets, folks. I tried to look at radar. Jamaica radar seems to be not providing any information. I can try again. Hold on. Oh, I'm going to try to go from the database. Did I shut the database down? Well, we'll get the database right back up. Okay, let's try. I know that the website has been completely overloaded. I tried to pull it up on my phone this morning. I was able to pull up the radar frame, but there was no radar that was available. It did not show. We're gonna let that percolate for a minute to try to give an update. GeoTrek's stream went down. I don't know what happened, but as you could see, there are other places. Oh, did we reload the stream? Maybe. It says live, so please go over to GeoTrek. Yes, we do have live streaming. Please go over to GeoTrek on YouTube and check out some of these cameras. When they get loaded, as they load, we will definitely get some information. You could see with this bottom center picture, there are still people moving around. I do not know the location of this central picture, but I can see the wobbling back and forth of the camera, which means that we are looking at some significant wind impacts here. But as you can see, we've got people out here walking across the street. If this is in Kingston, we may be able to kind of understand that. But anywhere on the western side and west central side of the island, we are looking at an absolute monster. Here, I'm going to up new AM 180 as of the 8 a.m. advisory. Update statement issued at 9 a.m. EDT from the NHC. Pressures down to 896 millibars with maximum sustained winds of 180 miles an hour. And because I am interacting as the page, I will sign my comment. There we go. Again, folks, look at this camera here. If these winds come, all this is gone. I'm absolutely heartbroken, mortified by what it's going to look like afterwards. I really am. 896, 180 miles an hour. Folks, this is beyond anything that is really comprehensible. We could sit here, we could try to imagine what this is going to be like. I promise, folks, you're not going to be able to imagine this at all. This is going to be the definition of full force Mother Nature. It's at 180 miles an hour. You're basically looking at with the wind field stretching out that far and the eye being 10 nautical miles wide from the northeast to the southwest. We're looking at 45 miles, and from the southeast to the northwest, another 45 miles. So then you add in the 10 nautical miles plus that 45, and we are basically looking at a 55-mile wide EF4 tornado with this storm, with higher gusts, with gusts into an unbelievable range. Absolutely unbelievable. I guarantee, I've been saying it now for about, I don't know how many lives I've been saying it, but somewhere, someone on that island is guaranteed now to see winds in excess of 200 miles an hour. Unbelievable impact, damage. unbelievable. I promise you, folks, you cannot imagine what this is going to do. We've seen we've seen pictures, but for those, this is unbelievable because it is still intensifying. It is still strengthening on approach. It has not stopped. It did not perform the eye wall replacement cycle, as was noted here from the University of Wisconsin when we were looking at it. We were up to 98% chance of an ERC, and it did not verify. And looking at the microwave imagery, as you can see, this thing on its Vortmax is an absolute unbelievable monster. And to make it worse, we are looking at the advanced Dorvac technique of a corrected number of T8.4. I did see one that was 8.5 earlier, but this is insanity with the satellite derived information that we're getting. And it only makes it worse when we look at the hurricane reconnaissance. As you can see here, big time, big, low, very low pressures, and then some unbelievable winds as it moves out. Now, we are going to try to find some dropsons whenever they decide to grace us. Whenever they decide to grace us with that information and that data. Looking at some of the wind speeds, we do have suspect wind speeds getting up here into those extreme values for surface winds. But a significant amount of turbulence had taken place. Damn. Folks, this, and it looks like that there is a whole bunch of static or something going on within the eye itself. I know that they flew a circle and they've got a whole bunch of suspect wind speeds, but the question is that eye truthfully calm? Because with all of this kind of interference or static or whatever we've got that is going on and being registered by the hurricane reconnaissance, that eye may not be as calm and clear as what one would expect. So again, do not step outside. Do not stay in your shelter. Cannot explain this, cannot beg you enough. Do not go outside. Do not venture out in this. If you wouldn't walk out into the middle of one of those Midwest tornadoes that was an EF4, if you wouldn't walk out into that, then don't walk out into this. That's basically what we're looking at here this morning, is a catastrophic disaster that is getting ready to unfold onto the island of Jamaica that they have never, ever seen prior. Nothing. Gilbert doesn't compare to this. Dean doesn't compare to this. Beryl, it doesn't compare. Nothing will compare to this. Nothing. This will be the all-time, hopefully all-time benchmark. I hope we never see anything like this strike anywhere, much less for our friends out here, these poor souls out here in Jamaica. You guys did nothing to deserve this. Mother Nature just happened to decide that she was going to act up and use, unfortunately, your country, Bermuda, Cuba, the Bahamas, as its test bed for its wrath. And my heart breaks for you folks. It really does. It really does, because this, while we say that, yes, we kind of understand what the damage is going to be, even though we have seen catastrophic damage from the Atlantic Basin, from the Pacific, from the Eastern Pacific Basin, all the way over to the Western Pacific Basin, and even for myself getting down into parts of the Indian Ocean, whether it be northern or southern, whether it be the Bay of Bengal or the Arabian Sea or down there in the Gulf of Carpentria for, north of Australia. It doesn't matter where we go. This is a specimen of absolute and pure refined power. Period. You can't get much worse than this. The storm that we are looking at, with Melissa, these are usually reserved for those Western Pacific storms. We don't see this kind of stuff in the Atlantic. Well, we have over the past 2 seasons, one with Milton, which thankfully did not make landfall at its peak intensity. Melissa, on the other hand, is going to make landfall at its peak intensity. All these folks here along central Jamaica and parts of the western parts of the island, my heart goes out to you. The entire Tropical Weather Threat Society team is praying for you. I mean, this is unbelievable. I mean, it's beyond imagination as to what this is going to do. I mean, you could think we don't know. We don't. This is going to be beyond devastation. As far as our wind speeds go, now this was issued at the 5 a.m. advisory, but our wind speed probabilities are still going to hold pretty much true because we did not get a dramatic shift in the track. So for Bermuda, we're going to start from the top and work our way down. For Bermuda, you have a 75% chance of seeing tropical storm force winds. Watches will be issued for you later today, as noted by the National Hurricane Center. We have a 37% chance of seeing our 50 knot or 58 mile an hour winds and a 14% chance of seeing our hurricane force winds. Grade Exuma, we have Exuma. We have a 52% chance of seeing tropical storm force winds, a 19% chance of our 50 knot winds, and an 8% chance of seeing hurricane force winds. San Salvador, you are at a 76% chance of seeing tropical storm force winds, 47% chance of seeing those 50 knot winds, and a 27% chance of seeing those hurricane force winds. Mayaguana, we are looking at 82% chance of tropical storm force winds, 29% chance of those 50 knot or 58 mile an hour winds, and an 11% chance of seeing those hurricane force winds. Guantanamo Bay, you have a 74% chance of seeing those tropical storm force winds, 15% chance of seeing those 50 knot or 58 mile an hour winds, and a 6% chance of seeing those hurricane force winds. Guantanamo Bay, your percentages have been decreasing in these 50 and 64 knot winds respectively. For Montego Bay, you have tropical storm force winds, yes. Your 50 knot or 58 mile an hour winds at 94%. So we might as well consider that yes. Though we saw with the eyewall replacement cycle being a 98% and did not occur, I'm not going to say that is going to occur with this 94%. The wind field is just too wide, folks. You're almost guaranteed to see those 58 mile an hour winds at minimum. And a 73% chance of seeing those hurricane force winds. Now, for the capital of Jamaica, for Kingston, your tropical storm force winds, absolutely. 99% you've been experiencing tropical storm force winds for quite some time. Though, when we go up in values, your 50 knot or 58 mile an hour winds have come down to 35%. Your hurricane force winds are down to 9%. So, even though we are looking at an unbelievable catastrophe that is unfolding right before our eyes right now. The only bit of optimism that I can find for the country, and we were hopeful that some of the mountains would potentially disrupt this storm. The storm is laughing at pretty much anything that we were hoping that would disrupt this thing, and has turned into an absolute monster. This is as evil and as destructive as they come on this planet. But Kingston, I'm going to turn this to white so we can see it. Kingston is located right there. And as you can see, they may be able to spare the worst of what Melissa has to offer. I am trying to find points and levels of optimism to, hope that these people can avoid a humanitarian crisis. Granted, there's big time disasters. We are still going to see the surge, regardless, all along the south coast of Jamaica, with getting closer to the core, like this area here. You are definitely looking at that 9 to 13 feet of storm surge just to the right of wherever this center makes landfall. It will be life changing. It will, there are going to be places on this island that I promise will never look the same again. This is as bad as it gets. I mean, and if at any point in time that we see anything worse, I hope that is after my existence here on Earth. I hope to never see anything like this again in my lifetime. It is unlikely that I will be able to not see this, because it's just the nature of hurricanes and tropical cyclones themselves, and super typhoons, or wherever you want to call it and match it. But I am so heartbroken for these people, because you guys, you didn't deserve this. Cuba, you didn't deserve this either. Bahamas, Bermuda, nobody deserves this. It's just the natural transfer of heat from the equatorial regions to the polar regions that we happen to get caught up in here in the Atlantic Basin and other parts of the world. And as you can see, today will go down in history as one of the strongest hurricanes or tropical cyclones to ever make landfall on the planet. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right, James. We are certainly in the begging and pleading stage. Like, I'll be just as blunt as I could be. Keep your ass in the house, or in the structure, in the shelter. Do not go outside. Don't. Not if you are on the western or central portions of this island. Do not go outside. You will run a very high risk of potentially losing your life. We can't replace you. You cannot be replaced. I don't care who you is. You could be anybody. You cannot be replaced. Names are irrelevant. You are a person. You deserve the same amount of respect as everybody else does. You deserve the same amount of love and protection that everybody else does. This does not care about any of that. This will take your life without mercy, without hesitation. This is not holding back for any reason, for anybody, anything, anywhere. It's not. That's the long wave imagery. Let's jump and catch daylight pouring in on this. Come on. Here comes that daylight. Look at that. with mesovortices spinning all within the center of circulation. There's no eye wall replacement cycle that's going to cut this, folks. That's unbelievable power. Pure, raw, refined power. It does not care. All of this southern shore, you are fixing to take a massive storm surge. Massive storm surge. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And when it comes to situations like this, there's not much you can do as far as forecasting. I mean, I could pull models out. We know where it's going. I mean, it is with everything that we've got right now, very, very tight clustering. No, excuse me. Very, very tight clustering of the tracks. It is guaranteed, obviously, to go through Jamaica, guaranteed to go through eastern portions of Cuba, guaranteed to go through portions of the Bahamas. And as you can see with that tight clustered track, Bermuda, you're buried under this. If we compare that with the HCCA consensus model, again, same thing. Same thing. The Google DeepMind, granted, 901 across the board. It didn't think that it was going to get any stronger, but I can promise you there have been many ensembles that were showing from the Google DeepMind that this storm could potentially get sub 900, and it has done that as of this morning. Unbelievable impacts, folks. Unbelievable. What are we doing? Where is this? 78.8, 18.8. Are we looking for somebody? Oh no. I hope they're not searching, trying to do rescue here. I really hope. 18.8, 78.8. That's exactly what they're doing. They're off the northern shore of the island. 18.8, 78.8. So we're looking at right about there. Maybe right there. Our trusty green circle. That's where the NOAA hurricane reconnaissance is, flying circles. This very well may mean that we have a distress call with people on a boat. And that would be absolutely disastrous and catastrophic. I hope that it wasn't, everybody there looking at it, and then all of a sudden we get people that decide that they want to panic and they're going to try to enter the waters and run from this and head towards, Little Cayman, Cayman Brac, or Grand Cayman. I hope that's not what we're looking at. That is, unfortunately, that's usually what this means. As you could see with their flight path, maybe they have finally left that. Let's hit the refresh on that. Yes. Okay. They have exited that area. Hopefully, whoever and whatever they were flying circles around will be safe. I do know that they have a very limited amount of time to be able to get through the eye of the storm before it reaches land. They will not fly through the storm while it is, as far as the eye is concerned, while it is over land. It is way too dangerous, folks. Way too much turbulence. And they're cutting it close as it is now. 3, we get and drops on from the eye, 893 on its surface. They put it at 896. We have 893 from the drops on, which would be 1 millibar higher than what we had with the Great Labor Day hurricane landfall in the Keys back in 1935. 90 years ago since we've seen something comparable to this. 90 years. This is hopefully once in a century. This is the storm of the century right now. We've seen many, many things. this is going back. I mean, we're talking about Dorian, Maria, Irma, Michael. This is right up there with them, if not worse. It's heartbreaking. It really is. There's going to be a lot of people that lose their life over this, and I don't know what to say where that is concerned. I mean, what do you tell somebody that when it comes to the loss of life? All right, everybody. Unfortunately, I always have prerequisites to do early in the morning during the week. There are things that I am required to do that is going to force me to come up off this live. I know that I said that I would be live at 1 p.m. this afternoon. That's a guarantee. If I can get back here to the house early enough, I may try to go live earlier than 1. It at the absolute earliest, I could probably do 12:30. But that's all going to depend upon traffic, stoplights, other people, and things out of my control. But I'll definitely be on and live as soon as I can get back here to the house. Um, and again, we're in the now forecasting. Though, one thing that we have not discussed here this morning is our rainfall and our key messages. Jamaica, as you can see, we have considerable rainfall amounts, anywhere between 300 to 750 millimeters of rain, or 12 to 30 inches with locally higher amounts. As far as eastern Cuba is concerned, we've got that 16 to 20, 400 to 500 millimeters in this brownish shaded area, real dark maroon. And then that widespread 12 to 16 inches. So we're looking at anywhere between 300 to 500 millimeters, potentially even higher than that 500 millimeters, with locally 20 inches or more. As far as our friends go into southern portions of Hispaniola, being into Haiti and the Dominican Republic, we do have the potential of seeing still considerable amounts of rain, and seeing into parts of the Dominican Republic, especially near the mountainous terrain, locally 8 inches or more. Now, we still have lower confidence here forecast for the islands. It does look like Crooked Island, Atkins. You are going to see the most of this, at least on this rainfall forecast. You're looking at potentially upwards of 8 to 12 inches, or 200 to 300 millimeters. So please, folks, rush all preparations to completion. Don't mess around with this storm. It is exceeding far more than its expectations, than anybody was really ever expecting this to become. Now, before I go, I do have to read the key messages, and then I will have to sign off. I've got to get ready. Jamaica, remain sheltered. See? Key message right there, remain sheltered. They're telling you exactly what I've been saying. Don't go outside. Catastrophic flash flooding, landslides, and destructive winds will continue through today, causing widespread infrastructural damage, power and communication outages, and isolated communities. Total structural failure is possible near the path of Melissa's center. Along the southern coast, life-threatening storm surge and damaging waves are expected through the day. Failure to act may result in serious injury or loss of life. Number 2, for Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Catastrophic flash flooding and landslides are expected across southwestern Haiti and southern portions of the Dominican Republic through midweek. In Haiti, extensive damage and isolation of communities is likely. Tropical storm conditions are expected later today and Wednesday. For eastern Cuba, heavy rainfall, flash flooding, and landslides are expected soon. Life threatening storm surge and damaging winds are likely to begin later today. Complete all preparations now. Rush all preparations to completion, please. Number 4, southeastern and central Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos. Hurricane conditions, life threatening storm surge, and heavy rainfall are expected across portions of the southeastern and central Bahamas on Wednesday. Complete preparations by tonight and follow local official guidance. Tropical storm conditions, heavy rains, and significant storm surge are expected in the Turks and Caicos Islands on Wednesday. Now, do we get radar? No, they don't like me. I can get it on my phone, but trying to get it on the computer, they're like, absolutely not, sir. You have driven us crazy over the last few days. You have sent too many requests. Please leave us alone. And that is, I wish I could look at the radar, honestly. I've learned for next time, don't stalk the radar before you need the radar. My God. My God. Please stay safe, folks. We're praying for you. Our hearts go out to you. Please stay safe. All right, everybody. I do have to get ready. I have to go. I will be back no later than 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central here, and we'll fire it up again, and we'll take a look and see what's going on. So until then, folks, please stay safe. Rush all preparations to completion in the other areas. For the folks there in Jamaica, don't go outside. Don't. And we'll talk to you on the other end. That's what we hope. My God. This is unbelievable, folks. Just watching the swirl within the eye of that storm. This is unreal. We get any more drop zones? No. All right, everybody. I'll be back here in a few hours. Please stay weather aware. Stay safe. Jamaica, we love you. Hold in. Lock it down. And we'll be back here.